So this morning I got a picture sent to me from a customer and a friend of mine. Said he's got a swarm of bees and what should he do? Well, I responded out here and I went ahead and took a look at his boxes. I've seen his boxes before and I knew that he needed some space, and I'm not sure what kind of maintenance he's done on them prior to, but just to get a nice little up close and personal real quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually recover this swarm. So that's approximately about 15 to almost 20,000 bees right there. So my plan today is going to be to capture this swarm from this tree that's about 20 feet from the hives. But I need to get into these boxes first and take a box from them, set up another station. That way they're ready to receive this swarm. So I'm going to take a box apart after I inspect his hives, see which one is better to take, set him up another location so we'll actually have 3 colonies when we get finished. So here we go, friends. It's time to dive into this box and see what we've got. So I'm gonna go ahead and smoke the entrance. It's looking like I have very little activity on this box. I think this is the one that she came from. All right. Check out the lid. Not a whole lot of activity. Let me just set this down. Alright, so on the top of here, he actually has some feeders on the top, 4 frames that are empty. Needs to re-wax these so that they can start drawing them out. I think he did that just in case. Well, it didn't stop the actual swarming. So what we're going to do is take this whole top piece off. We're going to set it up right here on the bottom. Right now we're going to take these jars away. Wow. Okay, so in observation, looking at these frames, because they're not double waxed, they didn't draw them all out. They're only doing partial jobs. See the difference? They're not working it at all. So only that all of these. So there's tons of room, and he's got several dead bees inside. So in looking at that, we need to find out why he's got a lot of dead bees. Okay, so this box I need to take off. Set it to the side. There's nothing on there really. So I have my queen clip ready to go in the event that I can find the queen. They're not coming up from the bottom. Queen's definitely not coming up, but I'm getting a lot of dead bees right here on the top. And actually what that's probably is they can't take them back out through that queen excluder. So we got, as normal, we got some beetle activity. So I'm going to show you just how many bees we got up at the top here. So let's take this queen excluder off. Definitely need to clean this off. They are filling this bottom box up really bad. Alright, so let me clean that up afterwards. So here's a look at the first frame. Looking at the bottom, they've drawn out the bottom quite a bit. Probably just not familiar with cleaning up the bottom of the frames. So what is I'm looking for the queen to see if she just really jumps out at me, and I'm gonna grab her in a clip and set her to the side. So right now I need to trim off all of this. With my little rack, I'm going to go ahead and set this frame aside. I don't see my queen there. So I'm going to dive into some more. There's a lot of maintenance on the inside of this box that needs to be trimmed up, especially on the bottom. Alright, so here's the second frame. Nice little drones. I am not seeing any eggs, but it is all cleaned out. I do see supersedure cell right here, so that's okay. That's fine, because what has happened is we've had the colony swarm, so we can go ahead and leave that there. But I am going to take off all the rest of this junk. And on this side, they'll build this back out, but this is just all kinds of wrong. So we're going to pop that off. So now, keep in mind, we've got a supersedure cell right there. So I need to make sure that I don't damage that. Smoke these guys again just a little bit. And now I'm going to set it right out here so that I can get to this bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go with, this is the 5th frame I've gotten into. We've got another supersedure cell in here. So I'm going to go with the fact that chances are there is no queen in here. She is actually in that swarm 15-20 feet from us. So again, I'm going to clean this up. They're getting pretty pissy. They know they don't have a queen. I'm going to make sure I don't disturb that cell. Alright, so that's cleaned up. So these frames of the supersedure cells I definitely want to leave in this hive. We do have a supersedure cell that is vacant. So we could have already had a queen hatch. So I'm going to leave that because down inside there's pretty dry. So I still have 2 frames that she could be hiding out if she isn't out on her maiden flight. There's some resources on that frame. Definitely have some cap brood. Apologize, I need to keep pulling away so that I can actually get the angle of the sun to see eggs. So I'm going to go with what I've done is sometimes my box needs so much maintenance, I'll just cycle it out, put another one in there instead of trying to fight these bees fighting me. Oh, stink, I got one up my sleeve. I don't know how it got in there, but it did. Okay, I've found the queen. And as I turn around to turn the camera on, she moves off. So let's see if I can find her once more. Well, I know they got a queen. And she's not mated yet because there's no eggs. Set this back down. I'm going to dive back into my other box here that I haven't got into and see what we got going on here. Maybe prevent a future swarm. Okay, due to some technical difficulties, what I just found out in review of my video footage was When I turned the camera back on, it was in the dormant stage, so the flip-flop screen was in the wrong direction. What I had done is I come over here, I grabbed my Pro Nook, I held it underneath the branch, I shook it down into the branch, and then I set it on the ground. I put the last of the 3 frames in there, closed it up. Both sides are closed, and that's where we're at right now. We're at the point where they're all swarming to the outside, collecting on there, bearding on the outside. So as you can see, they're collecting on the outside. They are still trying to hover up there, but it is kind of windy. So hopefully we'll have them all collected on that box and we'll be good. Alright, so let's see what we got in this box here. Now I see how he had to sell it. Alright, same idea. He has empty box, 4 frames, feeder sitting on top. I'm gonna let him put these back out here because my job right now is to see what we've got going on. All these are empty, empty, as in like nothing drawn out at all. They don't even want to come through that queen excluder. So I'm going to go ahead and take this box off. Set it down. Let's try to get it. Let's get an eye on what's going on inside these boxes. They propolized the lid right down to it. Obviously needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but so one of the things he had in the other box was all his frames were pushed over to one side instead of centered in the middle. I guess it could be personal preference, truthfully, but what it does, it limits you to only working on this side. And if they build the frame out, then these get all cattywampus and they fill in the gap, so you can't even get in there and really do anything. So I found working this upper lip to get the wax off the upper lip is easier to do it while they're still in there. Helps hold it for you. Now this one I could put my finger between, the same thing here, and then there's such a big gap on the outside, I think we're gonna have a problem inside. So let's see. Break that free. Knocked a lot of bees off inside. Alright. So yeah, they did. Instead of building out the frame, this whole piece here is built off the frame. It needs to I actually got to take that off. Queen can actually be hiding behind there too. So I need to take that off so they'll try to build correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one to the side. Let me get my bracket. And just set it. Alright, tons of bees. Nice clean cells. Clean cells, which tells me chances are he had a swarm already and didn't even realize it. And this one he just happened to catch. This one is right beside the box. When I showed up here, I was looking in the trees on my way in to see if I might see another one. And I thought if he had one, he had more. Alright, so evidence is here. We had a supersede cell, so they did. They superseded the queen, replaced her. And again, all clean cells, but I do not see any eggs. Do not see the queen. So I am going to clean this up. Alright, so we have one more supersedure cell on there. Not going to destroy that, but don't find the queen. There's actually two. This one's open. This one right here is actually open, so she's out. We got one somewhere. Another supersedure cell. So I'd say the queen is long gone. Don't want to destroy these because they're not going to make another. So really right now what I'm seeing is I need to take some frames and put them up top. He's going to have a problem. These drones are really light. So we've had several queens hatch, and this is probably the perfect time for them to be out and about. Alright, so I'm going to go with, they've got several queens out. They've got several queen cells still untouched, unhatched. And put these back in there. Run out of room, so what I'd like to do, take an empty frame, stick it in there. He needs to make some space, so let's do this. Alright, I'm going to leave that one just intact. I hope I caught all. It's hard to see in this thing. Okay, I'll check the timer view as to how long it's taken for us to wait and see if they re-clump up there in the bush, which they haven't. It has a little bit there, but they're mostly on the outside of the box. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up this box, I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to install it in its new home, right down here. And as you can tell, they're a little all ticked off, so they'll get readjusted and settle down. Okay, so here we go. My mission is to find the queen. Take a chance of kneeling down here. Got my clip standing by. My box up nice and close. So I'm going to look at this real slow. I'm going to look for that queen and see if I can't find her. If I can get her, I'm putting her in the clip and I'm going to install her. Okay, so she's not there. So let me carefully, ever so slowly, could take a chance and just put her all in this box. Hope for the best. But I got a feeling we'll probably end up swarming all over if we don't hang on to that queen. I don't see her. Alright, so I haven't seen her in there, so I'm just going to put her back inside. In case I missed her. Until I confirm, I really don't want to put any in that other hive. So I'm just pushing down to make them move. Just touching it. Ah, got mites. Seen one right on its back, right here. Definitely need to do mite treatment. I got her. Yep, I got her. Good. So now I'm going to install these frames in here. See, I need room for two, and then I got room for one more. Alright, I've got your queen right here. You know what? I'm gonna mark her and then I'm gonna put her back in here so it's easier for you to find her. I'm gonna slide her inside. I went back, I did mark the queen. I'm gonna go ahead and put her back in her clip and then we're gonna put her back inside. So, very delicate. I'm gonna try to do this. I found that if you make her climb up, she tends to go right in everything. So if I could shake it, make her up, and she's in here, she's marked yellow. Hopefully she's not too thin and she squeezes right out. Just pinch that clip just a little tighter for you. There, and you can hear her singing. All right, so she's down inside here. They can service her. That's full, and I'm gonna say if you're gonna feed a box, this needs to be the box that you feed. So dump the extra bees in. Put these frames so they're not sitting on the ground. Put your jars in here that you need to fill up anyway. I put our lid on and our telescoping cover. And we're done here. Best that I can do for you.